the legendary Synthi AKS, built by Electronic Music Studios in London. This one, probably in the early 70s, it has this Presto Patch Bay here, which identifies it as a later model. The KS in Synthi AKS stands for the keyboard sequencer down here, which we'll get to a little bit later. We're just going to go through a very quick voice. You have all these pins here. So the synth connects its modules together with pins rather than cables, but it's exactly the same. If you find an oscillator here and you track it across and plug it into a filter, for example, that's exactly like taking a cable on a synth and taking it from an oscillator and plugging it into a filter. The signal flow is this way and up and then back around. An easy way to demonstrate that is to just say take oscillator 1 and plug it here into output channel 1. We can hear that take off straight away. If I wanted to put that through the filter, I would take oscillator 1 across to the filter and put it in there. And then I would imagine that the signal comes out here and pops back across at this filter output. So now that I have an oscillator through a filter, I could then decide that I want to shape that sound with this envelope shaper. So I would take the filter out and I would plug it into the envelope here. And then again, imagining that the envelope comes out here and back in, again we'll go out output 1. Then what's happening is we're getting that tone shaped by the envelope shaper. One of the things that the AKS is famous for is this joystick interface here. It has range controls. So the first thing that I'll do is attach one of these axes here. You can see the stick axis, so the horizontal axis. I'll just pop that into the filter frequency. And by doing that, you see I can affect the filter frequency by displacing that axis. If I want to change the pitch of the oscillator, I might decide to take the other axis, the vertical axis, and plug it into the pitch of oscillator 1. I might also want to decide to add some of the spring reverb into this tone. So if I were to do that, I'd take this. So we've got oscillator 1 going to the filter, and so now we want the filter to go along to the reverb. So the filter goes along to the reverb, and then we might take the reverb out, channel 1. That gives us that amazing synthy reverb kind of tone. Keep an eye on all of the level settings. The levels for each oscillator here are often a place where people get tripped up. There's no sound coming out. Each stage or each module has a level. So the filter has a level here. If you're using the ring mod, it has a level. The envelope generator has a level. The reverb has a level. Just make sure that all of your levels are set somewhere audible. The output levels down here, of course, left and right at the bottom. But that's how you set up a simple voice. And now we'll look quickly at how to get the sequencer going. So what we can see, if we look at this axis of the joystick down here, right down the bottom here, it just says sequencer. So firstly, I'll connect the sequencer at the top, and then I will turn this dial all the way around so that this clicks, and now the sequencer is engaged on that vertical axis. So if I take that axis again and plug it into oscillator 1, then this oscillator should be affected by the sequencer. I like to just set the sequencer to neutral positions, 5s, hit record, hit play. Now you see you have that oscillator being controlled by that sequencer. To change that, you just hit record again. Play. Still got the filter control on the other axis of the joystick there. So if you wanted to add another oscillator. You could control oscillator 2 with the same sequencer, and then just pop oscillator 2 in there, give it some level. Terribly out of tune, but that's what these EMSs are famous for.